Welcome to our second video in the series, our Summer of Fulfillment. Okay, and we're talking about how to achieve a fulfilling life. And we've talked about, the various stages on which people live. You can live a survival life, you can live a successful life, but you can also live a fulfilling life. You want to see the difference between those? Check out some of our first videos. But in this video, we want to zero in more on perspective. Okay, we said that there were three things that would shape any life, and their perspective, principles, and practice. Today we want to focus in on perspective just a little bit more. Now, what a perspective? We want to start firstly by saying that your perspective will influence your reality. That we all live in the same world, but we do not live the same reality. And the reality that you live in is impacted or is shaped by your perspective. So perspective is very, very important, because perspective ultimately is what you believe about life. How you see life, and the kind of life you see is the kind of life you will get. The things you believe about life is the things that you tend to react to, and the things that you tend to get out of life. Perspective is able to shape our life because the things we believe in life influences three things. It influences how we feel about life, it influences what we do in life, and it also influences what we get out of life. It's important that you understand that, and as we go through this, you will see how that happens. Okay, I want to just tell a story here about two cows. Okay, farmer had a land, and on this particular land, he had dug some fresh wells, unfinished wells. Didn't cover the wells that night, went to bed, woke up the next morning, and two of his cows have fallen into the well. He and his staff talk about what was going to be done to get the cows out. Someone came up with a suggestion: let's go ahead and throw in dirt. They started to throw dirt into both wells. The first cow saw the dirt coming in and got frightened, and he's like, oh my goodness, they are trying to bury me. And so he became fearful and paralyzed, and just stood there, and the dirt came and buried him. The other cow, however, as the farmers and his staff threw dirt into the well, he said, oh my God, it's dirt. I have something now that can accumulate under me, and I can stand on and get out of this well. And so he became excited, and with every dirt he patted it under his feet, and every throw of dirt just took him a little higher and a little higher until he was out of the well. So two different cows, same well, same dirt, different perspective, impacted how they felt about the situation, impacted what they did in the situation, and impacted the outcome they had in that situation. Your perspective, the way you see life, the things you believe about life will influence and ultimately deliver the kind of life that you have. And so as we get on this journey about fulfillment, we want to make sure that we're adapting a fulfillment perspective. It's very important that we do so. Before I go forward, let me also say that there are two types of perspective. There is the perspective about how you see life, the philosophy you've developed about life. Like, life is not fair. Some people have that philosophy, right? They distill life into a sentence. Or some people will say life is a phenomenon that is filled with infinite possibility. So whatever your philosophy is, whatever it is that you distill life to, is your perspective. And so it is important that you have philosophies that are aligned with a life of fulfillment. But perspective can also be your vision. Okay, the kind of life you see for yourself. Okay, everybody see a different kind of life for themselves, and it's important, if you will live a fulfilling life, you have to be able to see a certain kind of life for yourself. So some people see the kind of life for themselves in which they would barely make it. And that's the kind of life that they receive. But other people see a life in which they will live beyond the wildest dreams. Can you imagine what sort of life that kind of vision generates? Although your vision needs to be more specific than that, we will take time and go into it. But imagine if you were to truly believe that you will live a life beyond your wildest imagination, what kind of life you're going to have. Okay, so your perspective therefore comprises of your philosophy and your vision, the way you see life and the kind of life you see for yourself. And so we'll be examining those type of things as we go along, and I will give you some homework at the end of this. It is important that you do so. Ultimately, your philosophy, your perspective is the map that gets you to the kind of life that you want to get to. Your philosophy is like a map that gets you to the kind of life, because it is the way you see life, and it is how you view it, and the way you view it powers how you navigate through life. And can you imagine using the wrong map in a different city, using the map of Chicago in LA? You will get lost. And that's the reason why a lot of people get lost, because they're using the wrong map in life. If you change the map to the right map, you will get to your destination faster. If you change your perspective, you will change your life. We need to go from a perspective of struggling to a perspective of fulfillment. We need to go from a perspective of merely succeeding to a perspective of fulfillment. And our life will begin to shift according to how we change our perspective. If you change your perspective, you'll change your life. So let's talk a little bit about how to change perspective. Perspective, I changed the way perspective I made. The way your perspective was developed is the way you will change your perspective. How was your perspective developed? You were not born seeing the world in a small eyes. Okay? You were not born seeing yourself in a small light. You were not born with a philosophy that life is tough. No, you did not come out of your mother's womb that way. However, it is your nurturing over time that your experiences in life, your sum total of your experiences in life, and the sum total of the information that has consistently flowed into your life, that has shaped the way you see life. Okay, things that happen to you and the information you were consistently exposed to about life shaped the way you see life today. And if you live a life in which you guys barely had enough food, or you barely could make rent, okay, and your parents always talk about how tough life is, and they don't think they're gonna make it, those type of things begin to influence your mind, and they influence the way you see life. And if and so your environment plays a critical role in life, in the way you see life. But if you also have people in your life who always told you you're never gonna make it, that you are destined to fail, or nothing good will become of you, and those type of things you believe those type of things over time, and it starts to shape how you see yourself and how you see the kind of life that you can live. So the things you expose yourself to, both your experience and the information that you're consistently hearing, whether it is your parents, your teacher, your friends laughing at you, and the things that they say over and over, tends to bypass your logic and just lodge itself into your subconscious, so that it forms part of the core of who you are and how you live life. Okay, and now that we understand how our perspective has developed, let's look therefore at how we can change it. Same way it developed is the same way you change it. The only difference now is that you must personally do the opposite of what they did in order to be able to change your perspective. And so there are 4 things that you like to call it the QBDP system. Okay, the first thing you need to do, you need to question everything you know about yourself and you know about life. You need to question everything you know about yourself and you know about life. You need to ask yourself, is this it? Doesn't life have more than this? You need to ask yourself questions like, why not me? Why is it that person can do so much more and be so much more and give so much more, but why not me? Okay, so you need to question all of those things. You need to question yourself. They said that I will not amount to anything. Is that true? Why is that so? You need to dig into those things, because questions, one of the things I love about question plans doubt. Okay? Question plans doubt. And the moment you start to question things, you start to break it down to the extent that it's not as strong anymore. You become doubtful about those things. So all your limitations, question it. All your limitations, question your limitation. And as you begin to question your limitation, it will begin to break down before you and open new vista to you. And then as that happens, you want to move to the second thing and broaden your vision of yourself and of your life. Okay? It is time to begin to see yourself bigger. Begin to see your life bigger, to dream a bigger life. Okay? It's time to see yourself being more, doing more, and having more. It's time for you to begin to see yourself doing that. So, but it will require you having a vision. We will talk more about vision in another place, but it will require you to have a vision. But you have to begin, whether you know how to do it now or later, you need to begin to see yourself in a different light. Being more, doing more, and having more. Third thing you want to do to be able to change your perspective is to begin to develop a diet of information that will inform you of the life that you want to live. A diet of information that is more geared towards the direction of life that you want to go. Okay, let's say that again. A diet of information that is more geared towards the direction in life that you want to go. So say, for example, you want to be more, and then, in the videos that we will be giving, we will show you what that looks like. Okay, you want to be more, you want to do more, you want to have more. How do I listen to things or read things or expose myself to things that will help my mind to develop into a person who can be more? Okay, so for me, I have a habit where I listen to something inspiring or empowering at least 15 minutes a day. I ensure that I read one book every month that will broaden my mind in terms of who I can be and what I can do. Okay, so you develop that diet. You have to put yourself on that diet. You have to make sure you do such thing consistently, because what you're trying to do is to replace the voices in your head that say you couldn't do, you couldn't be, you couldn't have. You want to replace it with voices that consistently tell you you can be, you can do more than you ever thought or imagined. Okay, you want to feed yourself with that kind of diet, whether it is on tape, whether it's in a book, or whether it is just in conversation with other people. You want to have that consistent diet. The last thing I want to think that you can do to begin to change the perspective you have is to place yourself in close proximity to those people who are living the life that you wish to live. Okay, find the people who are living that life and place yourself in close proximity. Hey, if they're on the golf course and you need to go and work as a caddy, go and work as a caddy. If they're in that building and those are the kind of people you want to, if you have to go work in the mail room until you work your way up and you just even become friends with some of them, whatever you have to do. If it's a bar that they frequent and you save up just a little bit at a time, and once a month, stop by at that bar, buy yourself one drink, linger on that drink for a while you have conversation with the kind of, whatever it is, wherever you can find them, Go and be proximate to those people. Proximity has power because you can stay there, you can learn from these people, you can become friends with these people, you can see how their life is. It broadens your perspective of life. And so these things will help you to begin to shift your perspective. Okay? Once again, it has to do with what? Q is questioning. You have to question all your limitations because it undermines your limitation. Then you have to broaden your vision of yourself and the life that you want to live. And then you want to develop a diet of information that gears towards that particular kind of vision, that life that you want to live. Finally, placing yourself into proximity with the people who are living the kind of life you want to live, because proximity is power. It's important that you do these things. They will help to shift your perspective of who you are. We will talk more about some of these things in other videos, so stay tuned. The final thing I want to do is I just want to give you a few examples of what fulfillment perspective look like, and everybody can develop their own, but it has to tend towards certain things. And so you have three example of fulfillment perspectives that I want to give you. One, fulfillment perspective is the abundance perspective. Okay, you see the world as a world of infinite abundance. There is enough here for everybody. There's enough for me. There's enough for you. When you start to see the world not as a place of scarcity, but as a place of abundance, it frees you up from certain stress. It opens your mind to infinite possibilities. It helps you to realize that things will work out. And when you can start to see from that particular place, you can now fit yourself in and start to work that life that you need to work towards. Okay? It's important that you understand life as a place of infinite possibility. I love to just look at the amount of sunshine that rains, that just comes down upon the earth, and just look at so much. Sometimes I try to calculate it from my finite standpoint, and how much generator would it take to generate all of that sun? Or for example, there are times that rain for days and days, and that's just unlimited amount of water just coming out of the universe. How is that? But it's possible, and it happens, and it is the universe that I'm in and that I'm a part of. And if the universe is that abundant, so am I. I even think about myself, and I think about the millions of connections that it takes for my human brain to function. I think about how many times my heart beat per day, just staggering number. That's so abundant. There are abundance all around me. The universe is characterized by abundance. And so we live in an abundant universe. And I can talk about abundance on and on, but you get my point. We live in a universe of plenty. And so if you adopt the perspective that your life is a place of abundance, it shifts you from a scarcity mentality to an abundant mentality, and that can change so much in your life. Here's another one I like to really talk about really quick. Another perspective, or another way to see life is to see life as the fact that your existence flow out of your being. What you have, where you are, where you exist, comes from who you are. Okay, it's not about what you do. It's not about all of those other external factors. It is about who you are, the quality of life that you will. So this is not the whole thing that says life is not fair. No. This is the kind of thing that says that the life that I receive, the life that I enjoy, the life that I experience, is directly connected to the person that I am. So if I increase the quality of who I am, I will increase the quality of the life that I live. And if you watch one of my videos, I say the wiser you are, the easier life becomes. And so you need to understand, and that's what this whole perspective is all about. This perspective is what I call the inside out perspective, the perspective that focuses on the development of you from the inside. And the better you become, the easier your life becomes. And so this is a very important perspective to begin to see, because if you can focus on a perspective like this, you're focusing more on things you can control and not things that you cannot control. You cannot control the world around you. You cannot control people around you. You can control yourself. And the better you become, the better the world around you becomes, the better your life that you are likely to live. Last perspective I want to throw at you here real quick, and all of these three is from the philosophy perspectives. Hey, give me one more minute, because I probably might want to throw some vision perspectives at you, okay? But that last philosophy perspective that you want to kind of adapt is a philosophy perspective that a fulfilling life is a balanced life. It's important that you develop that kind of perspective about life. If you develop the perspective that a fulfilling life is a balanced life, then you understand that life is not a place where you just focus on one main goal and you neglect all the others. Okay, because when you do that, and I know a lot of people who do that, they want that money, they want that power, they want that fame, and they neglect everything else. So they get to that top and they don't have meaningful relationship. Now they get to that all the way on top. Now they're looking for a husband or they're looking for a wife. And not everybody who they try to connect with want them because of their status, or they want them because of their wealth. Okay? But if you understand the perspective that life is balanced, you go hard after your goals, but you plan your life in such a way that you're able to take time for the various other needs that you have in your life. So you are able to take time to develop meaningful relationships. You are able to take time to exercise and stay fit and healthy. So when you get all of that money, you're not spending all of it in the hospital. Okay, so developing the perspective that life, for a fulfilled life, is a balanced life, is a really great perspective to develop. So finally, let me touch, and these are all philosophical perspective, and I told you that perspective can be divided into the philosophy you develop about life and also the vision you have about life. Let me give you two visions real quick before we close this video. Two visions real quick. One vision that you can adapt for your life. And these visions are vague. We can be able to go and specify it in other videos. But I just kind of want to give you an example. A vision that you can develop for your life is that I see a life for myself where all my needs are met and I have much more to give to other people. Can you imagine that kind of vision? Can you imagine seeing a life for yourself like that? So you move beyond a place of suffering and survival to a place of impact. Okay, so I say it one more time. I see a life for myself where all my needs are met and I have much more to be able to share with other people. Powerful vision for your life. Another vision you can have for your life is that I see myself living a life that is beyond my wildest imagination. I love that particular one because this just creates all sorts of possibilities, endless possibilities for you. So I'm just sharing with you some of these vision in the philosophical category and in the vision category. Think about these. What I really want you to do, those of you who've been following me, or if this is your first time, I want you to take some time right now and write down for me that philosophy. What philosophy? I know some of you wrote down philosophy last week. I want you to write a new philosophy this week, okay? If it doesn't align with some of the philosophy I talk about, write down, how do you see life? What is your philosophy of life based on some of the ones that I've shared with you today, okay? And I want you to also write down your vision of your life based on some of the visions that I've shared with you today. I love to see your comments. Please share your comment. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please do that. Every week we will be posting a new video as a part of our summer of fulfillment, just exploring the idea of how to live a fulfilling life. Hey, share it with somebody who you know needs to hear this, and please like. Okay, if it connects with you, just hit the like button. All right, let's encourage one another, and I look forward to this summer of fulfillment together. Thank you so much.